Hi everybody, welcome to Paint Along with Darcy. Every time I go hi, my dogs bark. It's so funny. Anyway, so we are going to work on Starry Night Camper. I'm so excited. Have all my little happy campers going to join along with us painting tonight. So let's go ahead and get started right away. Let's not mess around, yakety yakking. I know y'all just can't wait to paint. So let's go over just a couple things. You will definitely want to have a pattern. You could probably freehand this guy, but why? When you can have a pattern. It's really awesome. Just wanted to show you how I cut my pattern out. This guy was printed full size on the 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. If you haven't gotten your patterns yet from me, make sure you click going on the event and message me and let me know that you are ready for your patterns so that you can go ahead and prep these. And as you can see, there's a little shine. If you've painted with me before, you know that I always cover my patterns front and back with packaging tape before I cut them out. That just makes them a lot more sturdy than just leaving it on paper. And especially if you have more than one person using your pattern, or you plan to reuse the pattern because you had so much fun, you can't wait to do it again. It's a good idea to do that. Not necessary if you're just going to do this painting one time. Just go ahead and cut out the paper. You'll be totally fine. But I like to do it this way. So, okay, I just wanted to show you a little tippy trick things. So the door, you can cut out like that, so that you can trace along the top of the door and all along the sides. And I did cut out the little window, and I cut out this window. And same thing with the tire. I went ahead and cut out that whole fender so that I could trace the whole thing as well as the inside of the tire. So those are just my little tricks to keep the pattern all in one piece, but yet still be able to get all those details in. So this painting we're doing today, you can do a lot of freehand if you want. If you noticed in the painting, we're kind of following Mr. Vincent van Gogh, his Starry Night. So it's going to be a lot of layers with a lot of color, a lot of motion in this painting. So it's really exciting. So I hope you don't get bored with making the little strokes, because just kind of enjoy it, embrace it, you know, have some fun with it. So if you notice the swirly in the painting, the swirliness of the sky, I actually do have a pattern for you if you were nervous about freehanding that. But you can go ahead and freehand it too. Just make some just really cool swirls in your sky. But if you are having swirl envy, here's a nice swirl. So I also sent that to you guys who were requesting patterns. Also, because this is a camper, I didn't want to do Van Gogh's, he's got like a cypress tree in his painting. I wanted to go more Minnesota. So I went ahead and sent you guys a little silhouette of a beautiful pine tree. Now, feel free to freehand that puppy if you want to, but so for those of you who are tree challenged, this works good too. You could just trace it and we'll paint away. I might actually do that myself, or I might go for it and just kind of freehand it, but I do like this spiky little tree. Okay, and also if you clicked going, you can open the event or click on the event itself and then look in the discussion. I always have a list of the supplies that you need to do this painting in the discussion feed. So just like scroll down until you can see supply list. So that will let you know what brushes we're using today. I'm going to use my big 3/4 flat brush, which is, you know, not super flat right now, but it is a flat brush. I am going to use this is a little bigger than a 1/4. The size on it is a number 6, but a 1/4 flat brush will work too. You just need a little flat brush that's, you know, much smaller than the big one. Can you see that there? Okay, and I'm going to use a little, just a little standard round paintbrush for some detail work. Another thing you will need for this painting, we might get some thunder in the background. That's really cool. It decided to rain today. Another thing you're going to need is probably a sharper. This is a fine point Sharpie. And you'll want a pencil too. I really like these mechanical pencils, but any pencil will do. Preferably one with a eraser. Mine's gone, so, but I'll make do with that. So the first thing, you'll want paper towel, a palette, you know, for your paint. So I like to use the ice cream bucket lid. You can use whatever you want. This is not a sloppy painting, so feel free to just use a paper plate if you need to. You'll want a little cup for water. And then let's go through our paint list. I know that that is listed in the discussion of the event, but just to reiterate, now you can use any colors you want to do this. I'm just going to show you what colors I'm going to use tonight. So I'm just going to use a primary yellow. I love Art Deco paint. It's just the perfect consistency and I just love it. So as you can see, this is just a very primary yellow. I'm using True Red. Kind of looks bluey in my camera, but it's True Red and everything reads backwards. And guys, make sure you always shake up your paint before we get started. Ooh, Ultra Blue Deep. I would have named it Ultra Deep Blue, but they named it Ultra Blue Deep. It's almost a purpley blue. It's just really dark, but we're even going to darken that guy up a little more. You're going to need white. You will want a green that's kind of on the bluey side. So this one is forest green. I might blue him up a little more because this is a nighttime painting and I want that kind of blue look to it. Also, I'm going to use a little Bahama blue. Love this one too, Bahama blue. All these colors I've shown you so far from that Deco Art brand. You can find those at Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure if Walmart carries it or not. I don't think so, but and then you will also want a black. Ta-da! And the only other paint I'm going to use is yellow ochre. I've only been able to find yellow ochre in the cheaper paints in this Folk Art brand. I don't think Art Deco Art carries yellow ochre. So you'll want that too. It's kind of a mustardy color. If you don't have yellow ochre on hand, you could get by with maybe adding a little bit of brown to your bright yellow to tone it down a little bit, and that will hopefully get you kind of that gold color that we're looking for. And now that I think about it, gold metallic paint would be really super awesome too. I do have some of that. I'm very tempted. What do you think, you guys? I'm gonna get it. Just a minute. I might like be wild and use gold. Hang on. Let me pause you just for a second. Okay, we're back. I have, these are the same. It's by Art Deco, 24 karat gold. Oh, this is splendid gold. You could use 24 karat gold metallic paint. Might use that. I'm gonna set it aside just to see, because you know, yellow ochre is not that exciting. This could be fun around our stars and moon. Very cool. Anyway, so I'm setting that off to the side. Okay, so we talked about what we need. You might also want to use a little tape to tape down your pattern with before you get going. So I just wanted to show you, this is how far I am right now. So I traced, let me back up. So I traced, this is a 16 by 20 canvas. I traced my camper, kind of the vintage camper, super cute, love it, love it, love it. So it's towards the bottom. There's about 2-3 inches between the tire and the bottom of my canvas here. And it's about 2 to 3 inches from the side. So I kind of put it in that lower corner like that. I wanted to leave room for some landscape, but mostly I want to focus on the sky. So it's going to be cool. So we are going to go ahead and get going on this sky. Let me tip you down. Hope you got your seatbelts on. Sorry if it's a little rocky. Here we go. Get you down here like this so that you can see what we're working on. Lock you in place there. Okay, so, oh, I forgot to mention this is video 1, which is kind of obvious because I'm doing all the introductory type stuff. So let's go ahead and get going here. We're going to go ahead and load up our palette with some of this ultra deep marine blue. So we want the blue, and we're gonna you know what, wrong. First we're gonna start with yellow. Okay, so let's get some yellow on our palette. It won't take very much. This is pretty much just gonna we're gonna place the moon and the star. So I'm using about a dime size little spot right there. I tried to line up these paints in order that I'm gonna be using them, and then when we got talking, I messed it up. Okay, and I'm going to use my little, my smaller flat brush. We're going to go ahead and dip that in the water. You never want to start with a dry brush. You always want to have it damp and then kind of dabbed off or wiped off on the paper towel. You don't want it kind of drippy, but you do want it damp. It helps keep those bristles together nicely. Let's go ahead and load this up. Now when I load my brush, I always pull from the edges of my puddle. I don't like to pull from the inside. It just overloads the brush also, and it when I'm mixing colors, it's always a good habit to mix on the edge of your puddle so you can keep most of your paint that pure yellow color. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna come in here and about right up, let me turn this a little bit. Maybe you can see it a little better. Okay, cool. So right up here in this corner, I'm gonna put a backwards C. So I'm just going to come in with my brush like this, and I'm going to add a little pressure. I'm going to come up around and make a nice C. And that is our moon right there. Look at that. Now for my stars, let's see. I'm going to use this windy look here. I'm just going to lay that on there, and I'm going to lay out my tree where I think my tree is going to go. And now I'm just going to kind of place some stars. So I'm going to put one star here, just a little dab. Maybe one star here. Another star up over here. I'm going to try not to like line them up so much. I just want them kind of around my moon. I'm going to put another little star here. Maybe one off over here. I kind of like that, just that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's always good to have an odd number. So there's my stars, guys. See how I did that? I just laid those patterns in there so I could see where I wanted to work around. I'll take them off now. Okay, and now we're going to start, we'll rinse off our brush really well because we're going to move to our big brush. Big brush. Okay, so rinse that off really good. And now we're going to get our ultra deep blue. And we'll need quite a bit because we're going to cover the whole canvas from the top and the sides and the face of it all the way down to about this area here. So I'm going to go ahead and put my ultra deep blue, and I'm going to mix a little bit of this red in there just to kind of really darken up this color a little bit, almost make it a little purpley. A little bit goes a long way. So I'm going to take a little red, get my big brush here, and I'm going to mix a little of the red. Let me bring this over so you can see. Mix a little of the red, and remember we're going to mix into the edge here. Ooh, that's really darkening it up. Nice. We're going to get a nice deep, deep, deep. Look at that. Can you see what it's doing? Yeah. So you can like see a definite tonal change between the blue and this darker blue that we're making just by mixing a little red in there. I'm going to go ahead and mix that all in there. We might have to mix up more as we go, but for now we're getting this really deep, gorgeous, almost purpley blue. Look at that. That cool. Okay. And I'm just gonna start. And then I'm not gonna care too much about what this looks like because there is a lot gonna happen on this canvas. So we're just gonna quickly lay in our color. I'm gonna go ahead and go all around the edges here, all the way down to about here. And we're not gonna worry too much about our brush strokes. They can be messy. We don't really care. What we're trying to do is just get this color onto our background. I'm gonna go all the way down into here with it. Nice, deep, gorgeous color. Okay, so you can see I got my top and my sides, both sides. Now we're just gonna keep going here. I'm gonna move my water out of the way. And we're just gonna kind of work in here. And I'm not gonna butt right up against these yellows yet. I want them to dry a little bit so that I don't smear them, or smear them as I like to say. I'm really liking this deep, deep, deep blue. It's gonna be a nice background for all that bright color. So have some fun with this. This part is the easy part. So don't get intimidated. You'll be able to do this. It'll be great. So as you can see, I didn't trace the wind and I didn't trace the tree. I'm going to put those things in a little later, but I do want to go around my camper here. And I'm just kind of making messy strokes, but I am being careful around the edge. Do you see how you can use this big flat brush, just kind of the edge of it, and pull it around? Instead of using it the flat way, I'm using it the narrow way. And I'm just going to go around. I'm going to get a little bit more red, and we're going to mix up a little bit more of that dark paint. It's amazing to me that that bright color red can make this blue get so dark. How cool is that? And don't worry if it doesn't mix exactly the same. That's kind of the fun thing about this Van Gogh painting. You're going to get different tones, which is really fun. It's going to be lovely. I just want to make sure I don't paint on my stars right now. I want to go around them so that they can dry. If we can keep working without having to dry with a hairdryer in between, that'll make it go a little faster for us. Whoops! I went over my moon! Hack! It's okay. It's okay. Art is messy and it's fun, and it just kind of, sometimes it creates itself. I always call those happy accidents, when you have an accident and you think, oh my gosh, now I have to fix it, and then usually it turns out better than you imagined once you try to fix it, which is really fun. Ooh, do you love this dark, dark midnight blue? Look at that. Very fun. So you guys who are painting with me today, I would love to see your paintings. That always makes me so excited to see what everyone is doing. Oh, you know what? And what I didn't mention before, do you see how I decorated my little camper with a heart? I just freehanded that. And I just kind of took a pencil and went whoop, whoop, and then added triangles. I thought about doing lights instead of the triangles, but because that would look really cool too. Maybe next time. Next time I'll do the lights. You could kind of make lights the same way we're making these little stars. Kind of the same technique there, where you just plop in some bright, go around it with the other colors. But I think the pennants are going to be fun because that'll allow me to add in some other colors that I want. And I'm deciding, I think my little camper, I think I'm going to go turquoise with him. I've seen pink ones too. Pink campers are really cute. Red campers, orange campers, pretty much anything. Sky's the limit, whatever you want to do. But do you see how I'm just being super messy? Messy paint, messy paint. I'm just laying it in here. You can see all my little brush strokes. See that? All these little brush strokes, and I don't care. I like them. That's going to add to the kind of Van Gogh-ness of our painting here today. So, yeah, I've been wanting to try this Vincent van Gogh painting kind of technique, but I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. Cinnamon Cooney, I think is her name. She did sunflowers, and that was pretty. We tried that one time when we were first starting out here a couple of years ago, and I've just been wanting to play with that, but do something different, you know. So, look how it dries differently than this. Oh, that's fun. Okay. I really love this filming while I create, because you get to see everything for the first time along with me, and that's really fun. So I gotta mix up a little bit more. See, it takes more than you think. It takes more than you think. Just a tiny bit more. That should be enough to add into this last little bit of blue I got going on here. Okay. Let's go around those little stars. That's the hardest part for me. I get going and I forget about going around these little stars. I just heard my air turn on, and I'm glad because I'm starting to get warm. I was chilly earlier, so I put my flannel on. And now I'm a little chilly. Kind of like that, you guys. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna kind of round this one out a little bit more so it's not so chunky. But I guess, you know what, it doesn't have to be perfect. That kind of adds to the kind of wonkiness of it too. Yeah, okay, that looks good. All right, now to this bluey mixture, I'm gonna get a little bit more blue. And this time I'm gonna pull in some of this green because we're gonna work on our land here, and I want it to have a green tinge to it, but I want it dark, so I'm just gonna go ahead and throw out that green right there like that. And I'm gonna slowly mix a little of this blue in there and see what we get. Okay, take a look at that. See, this is the green and this is the blue, and it's turning into this really deep, luscious, dark blue. Or not dark blue, I'm sorry. Kind of a nice dark blue-green color. Kind of like that. See that? Neat. Okay. Now I'm going to come in here and same thing. I'm just going to do my edges up about yay far. Oops, it's slappery. I'm dripping. So I want to do my edges. And make sure you get these little, where your folds are in your canvas. Here, I'll show you on this side. So see where it's folded, and when you try to go over it, it doesn't get real good. Well, this one did because my brush is really full. Just really get your bristles in there so you can get that whole thing. So, and I'm gonna get this edge too. I'm gonna go right up to my blue, right up there. looks like I missed a little spot there. So I'm just gonna let my green go up a little farther. It's okay, it's not gonna hurt anything. You can create as you go. Oops, I think. There, are we in? Okay. Okay, this is kind of fun. It's deep bluey green color. And again, I am going to be careful when I go around my camper. But otherwise, the rest of this, I'm just going to be sloppy and freehand with it. Just spread it around. I'm anxious to see what color that's going to be when it's dry. That's kind of fun. The paint looks one color. I'm going to pick up a little of that paint. Okay, so I'm going to be careful in here. This is tricky. If you have tight corners or tight areas here, feel free to grab your little brush to go around those areas. Sometimes I like to live dangerously, and sometimes I'm like, oh, forget it. Don't have to be super careful because that big old tree is going in there. I just don't want any white. I want my canvas completely covered, so the sky and the ground, I don't want to see any white when I get done. So I know there's some white right now around the stars, but that's on purpose because we are going to make some little glowiness around those stars and the moon. But right now I want to cover the sky completely. So I know some of you are wondering, gosh, how long does it take to do a painting? Well, you know what? For me it takes probably a good 3 hours. I can even spend longer depending on how detailed paintings are. I know when I'm doing custom work, it can take me a week or better to do one painting. So I usually ask people to give me 3 weeks when they want me to do a custom painting for them, just so that I have enough time for life to happen and to be able to take my time and do a good job. So, you know, with any of these paintings, take your time. That's the beauty of having these pre-filmed little paint parties, is that you can pause whenever you need to, and you can come back to it. You can rewind, say, oh, I didn't quite get that, I'm gonna rewind that. So it's kind of cool, I really like it. Yeah, especially summer can be really busy. You know, sometimes you just don't know what's gonna go on. Okay, I am liking that. I have all my space covered. I think that's groovy. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna wash my brush. I'm gonna wash my brush, and I think at this point we are going to dry this guy. So I'm gonna pause it. I'm gonna use my hair dryer. That's another thing you guys are gonna wanna have handy if you don't wanna have to take forever. Actually, instead of pausing, we're at 28 minutes. So I'm gonna stop video 1 and we will go on to video 2. All right, thanks guys. Be back in a bit. All right, we're back. Video 2, yay. All right, so at this point you have your background in your sky. You've got your moon and stars. You've got your foreground in. So this is where we're starting off with video 2. You know that your painting is dry if you tip it to the light and you don't see any shine. No shine means it's dry. You're ready to go. Okay, so let's have some more fun. Hang on, I'm gonna tip it back down. All right, we're gonna have some more fun here. So this time around, we are gonna do, we're done with our big brush. We're gonna move on to this little flat brush, like that. Do you see that? Little flat brush? Yep, see? Okay, So we're gonna go with our ultra deep blue. And this time we're just gonna do a new little puddle here off to the side. And we're gonna mix some white into there. We still want it to be fairly dark, but we do definitely want it to be a shade lighter. So let's put some white over here. And so we have a nice little amount of blue, a little bit of white. We'll get our brush wet, dab it off on our paper towel, and we're gonna start mixing. So I'm actually gonna bring the blue and the white kind of meet together in the middle. I'm just gonna pull over a little blue, pull over a little white. We're gonna see what happens here right in the middle. Ooh, I'm already liking that color right there. Isn't that nice? So that is a definite, it's not really bright, but it's definitely brighter than this color here. Okay, so I'm gonna go with that right there. Maybe I'll just mix up a little bit more. I wanna make sure I have plenty. So bring in a little bit more white. All right, there we go. That looks good right there. Okay, so we got that nice, definitely lighter than this, but not super bright yet, okay? So we're gonna go in with this. I want to kind of paint around my stars. Let's see, what does that look like? Let's just try it. Okay, I'm good with that. So I'm just gonna paint in a little bit more around these stars. I'm not gonna try to make it perfect. Just going around like so. Might try to get in there a little bit more. Okay, so same with this one. I'm just gonna paint in around that circle. I'm not worried about it being real circular. You see how they're kind of wonky? I'm embracing the wonky. So we're gonna go around that. I'm trying to get rid of all this white, sort of like that. So this is starting our glow, the little glowiness around the moon and the stars. And this is where we're gonna actually, pretty soon here, we're gonna start our motion in our sky. So, but we're gonna get in around all these stars and the moon with this lighter blue color here. And again, you can see it's not like super bright, but you can tell the difference. Fit in around there as closely as I can and not worry if it's misshapen or anything. We're just gonna quick little movements. I'm trying not to be uber perfect. I'm just gonna get around there. So let me give you a close-up right now what it's doing. So you see how they're not super circular. They're just kind of little wonky shapes. Now Van Gogh did a lot of impressionistic type stuff, and we just want to kind of embrace his style a little bit there, just to get our own little starry night campfire going on. I almost put a fire in this one, and then I thought it was going to be a little distracting. So I really wanted the night sky, the stars and all of that motion to kind of take over more than, you know, than having a bright campfire down in our ground. So okay, now this is going to be weird, but I'm going to go ahead and go in the center here too a little bit. I want this to look like a C, like it's not a completely circular moon. So whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay. All right, so we've gone around our star and our moon, and right now we're going to use this dark blue, or this, not our dark blue, but the new blue that we just mixed up, the same blue we just went around everything with, and we're going to lay in our wind. Now, the Vincent van Gogh Starry, Starry Night had this swirly wind shape, and I kind of want to freehand this and follow this a little bit, but I get nervous. So if you feel like you want to, at this point, take your pencil and trace, you know, I might do that too. I'm going to go ahead and stick my brush in the water, and I'm just going to kind of roughly trace where I want this to go. I think, do I want it like this? Kind of like it, kind of like that. So, or do I want it more straight? Yeah, let's go straight. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just, I'm going to trace this with my pencil, and I don't have to trace it perfectly. It's just to help me get kind of that flowy motion going. So let's get a little swirly here, a little swirly up here. Do you see I'm not being super like a little swirliness here? Comes along like this, makes another little swirl. I'm just kind of using this as a guide. Little swirliness up in here. All these pencil lines will get totally covered up by the end. So this is just kind of helping me get the basic shape and not making me work so hard at it. Zoop, swirly, swirly. Okay, I can go with that. So I got that in there. You can barely see it. I can barely see it. Can you kind of see it in there? So here we go. Now I'm going to go ahead, and I'm still using that little quarter brush, but instead of using the flat strokes, you know, to get a wide flat stroke, I'm going to turn it like this and use kind of side strokes. It's almost like we're making slight little C's around. And this wind is a really good thing to practice on right now. So I'm going to start right here and just kind of start my swirl. So you'll have thick sides and you'll have thin sides. Zoop. A little swirl there. Comes along and it does a little swirly thing up here. Zoop. Okay, that's fun. We're going to come along and do a little swirly sloop down there. If it helps you to make a sloop, swirly sloop. If it's helpful, go ahead. Use sound effects. Sometimes that's really fun. Here we go. Sloopy swirl. Kind of fun. And again, because these brushes are flat, we can get thick and thin lines all together at the same time. So let's see, I want this part to be extra thick. So I'm going to come in down here like this. Look at that. And what we want to do is make kind of a windy, swirly motion. I don't even know how much of this is going to show up once we get the tree in here, but I'm not worried about that. I'm just having fun with it right now. So, swirly sloop. Another little one up here. Okay, so what I'm looking for is motion. So this kind of soft little motion. And you can go ahead and make some parts thicker, some parts thin. Yeah, look at that. Maybe another thicker part right here. Kind of fun, all this swirly motion. Swirly motion. Okay, let me accentuate this one up here. It's going to come swooping up like that. I kind of like that. That's fun. And again, feel free to freehand anything that you want. So the beauty of this is it's your painting. you can do anything that you want with it. Stop when you're happy, keep going if you're not happy, do whatever you want. So I just really want some nice motion in here. I'm really liking that. That's really fun. Okay, now I'm going to have to mix up a little bit more of this blue. So let's go ahead and bring some white over here. We're going to mix in our blue. I still want it to be pretty dark. We don't want to get it too bright yet. We got a lot of color to do here. I just want to make sure I can see a definite difference between this blue and this blue. So you don't want it too bright. You want it, you know, on the darker side of blue, but not as dark as our ultra deep blue is there. So we have a lot of other stuff we want to do. This is just starting. Okay, so we have our wind in place. We have our moon and our stars in place. Now we're going to start with a little swoop-de-swoop. So basically what that is just a little kind of curvature, little lines, and you don't have to be super careful. Just little lines, almost like, think about basket weaving or something like that. Don't go over your wind, but up against your wind, but don't go over it. Don't completely cover up your background. We want some of that dark stuff to still show. Do go over your edges. So I'm going to go right over my edge like this up here, because remember, when a painting hangs on the wall, it looks really cool. If you have, it looks really cool to have your edges done. So I'm just going to keep with this kind of basket weaving look way out here like this. I'm going to bring it back around. And I want to get this star going here. So it's just little short strokes. And we're not using the brush flat, we're using the side of the brush. So it looks thick and thin, almost like little petals. But do you see I'm coming right around here? And now we're going to do this star. I'm going to go right around, and I am turning my brush as I go so that I can get these little strokes in here. Ooh, Thunder Woman. Yeah, it's cool. Now this is starting this really cool little Van Gogh-y type. We're creating motion. So the reason why we're going around the moon and then around the stars, it's kind of like, reminds me of like a puddle when you drop a rock in, how it makes these ripples going out. And when you see it rain, you have lots of ripples and they kind of bounce into each other. This is kind of the effect that we're getting here. So, and it doesn't matter which thing, whether it's the moon or the stars, we're just getting that motion. Oops, sorry. There you go, getting that motion in there. See that? It's so cool. Now, the fun thing about this is just relax while you're doing this, because we're gonna do so many layers on here that you can't make a mistake. You really can't. You can just, there'll be layer upon layer upon layer, and it's just going to be so cool when we get done. So what I'm trying to say is that these strokes aren't going to show up as much as others will. So go ahead and experiment and play and find your favorite stroke. So just keep practicing, thinking about this basket, how the strokes are sitting more like bricks, so they're off center from each other. Keep that in mind as you're doing this. So, and make sure you're going off the edge of your canvas all the way around those things. So we want to try to get just that little bit of motion going on here. And again, it's like a ripple. Comes way out into here. And you can even go around, your wind, you guys. Look, you can even go around your wind to get this cool. We just want motion, motion, motion. And we're gonna go around our wind too. This is gonna be so pretty when we're done. I hope you're gonna have fun with this one. It's kind of using primary colors, taking us back to the school days. See how I'm trying to make sure that where I have a gap, I'm trying to put a line above it, kind of like bricks. Remember how I was saying? So like here there's a, let's see, let's make it easier to see. Here there's a gap, so I want to put the stroke above that to get that kind of brick or basket weaving look. Make sure you reload your brush so that your strokes are nice and have a lot of paint on them. Woohoo! Got a little wild with that one, but that's okay. All right, so I've gone around all my stars. I'm going to keep going with this wind shape. I'm going to go right down in here. I'm just going to keep this going. It's kind of this swirly, swirly wind shape. It's kind of fun. So again, we're going to make this kind of basket. I want these little strokes just to kind of show up in here. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to go around the camper. This camper, he needs to have his own like coolness. Maybe there's lights inside the camper, so he's got his own glowy going on here. So yeah, I'm going to incorporate the camper here. So here we go. And remember when the ripples butt up against each other, then you just kind of bring it on out. Bring it on out. Yeah, maybe I'm going to come down here with the wind some more. Go off my edges here. Make sure you get those little strokes off the edges. Come around the camper a little bit more. Can even go around this landmass. It doesn't matter. Van Gogh made everything, even his trees, everything had these baby little strokes in it. And I gotta mix up just a little more, so I'm gonna go back to my dark blue. Pull in some more dark blue. Pull in a little bit more white to try to match that color. But if I don't get it matched perfectly, I'm not worried about it. But I do just want to make sure that the blue I mix up is lighter than my original blue. It still needs to be dark, but it needs to be lighter than that one so that you can see it against the background. So I'm going to go ahead and go in here like this, and like this. I'm just slapping in some strokes here. Quick little short, whoops, some of them are getting long. Remember though, we can't make mistakes, can we? So just quick little strokes. We're just making motion, 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 motion. This one is really fun. I have fun with it. I love how it looks already. I hope you guys are having fun. Look at that. Keep going around the edge. Whoop, whoop. I'd love to have you guys tell me what sound effects you do so that the kids that come in can be like my kids and go, ugh, it's mom again. She's painting. She's painting, crazy lady. All right. So we have got, I'm going to maybe put in a little motion in here. Boop, boop, boop. Wherever you feel like you want to put in a little motion, just go for it. Boop, boop, boop. Little motion. Doesn't matter. Just so cool. Look at that. Isn't that pretty already? Okay, now we are gonna have the same thing in our land, but we don't really want it blue. We want it a lighter green. So I'm gonna rinse out my brush. I still have a little green on my plate. I hope you guys do too. Can you see that? And I'm rinsing out my brush, wiping off my brush. You want to get these brushes really clean. Don't let your brushes sit with paint on them because it'll wreck your brushes. So I'm going to pull a little of this white into this green and let's see what happens. I still want it to be dark. Remember, just like the sky, we still want it to be dark. Just a lighter shade of the green that we already have, but on the dark side. See that? You can definitely tell a difference. I'm going to go with this darker one over here. Because just like our sky, our land is going to have a lot of layers too. So we're just going to come in here and start laying in some little layers. Just layer it in. Come back and grab some more. If your paint is a little pasty because it sat for a while, just go ahead and dip your brush into your water and mix it in with your paint. Your paint should not feel like, it shouldn't feel like paste. You want it to be nice and smooth when you make your strokes. All right, we kind of went around this too. And you can make your strokes, let's see, let's just make it, let's pretend there's a little mound right there. So I'm gonna put in some motion that way too, and a little mound up in here. So I'm gonna have my strokes kind of follow that. Whoops, okay, so I definitely wanna make it more like a, basket or like bricks. So they want to sit, you want your strokes to be staggered. You don't want them to line up. So making my little strokes. Refill your brush as needed. Or reload your brush as needed. Try to get those strokes staggered in there. Even if you have to be conscious about making one stroke a little longer, just to try to get that weaved look. You know, because mine keep lining up here and I don't want that. I want it to have that weaved look. So. There we go. We're getting some motion in here, and don't forget to go off the edge of your canvas. Just continue those little strokes there. There we go. Is this fun? Are you guys having fun? I'm having a blast. Yeah. All right, that looks good. I'm gonna rinse out my brush. I better take a look at the time and see how we're doing. Okay, let's see, whoops. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so sorry. Oh, I almost took you out with me. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pause this video, and I'm going to dry all of this, so you guys should do that too. And I'm sorry, instead of pausing, I'm going to stop, and we'll continue on with video 3. Okay, thanks. All right, we're back, and this is video 3. Okay, let's take it down. Let's get going here. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and mix up another batch of blue. So This is the blue here that we use to go around our moon and stars, and we made our wind with it. I'm going to lighten this up some more. I'm going to get some more white in here. This time I'm just going to throw it right in there because I know we'll need quite a bit. And also, if your paint is feeling a little sticky, a little pasty, go ahead and throw some white in there. You want it to have a nice flow to it. So what you want is a lighter blue. We're going to go much lighter this time. We want to see a definite difference between our wind color blue and this blue. Okay? So it's almost a periwinkle blue. All right, let's go ahead and get going. I'm actually going to start with my wind a little bit. I want to just start accentuating this wind. So I'm going to go with the main piece here. Go ahead and let the paint flow off your brush so that you have a very light, almost like a wispy dry brush stroke. So we don't want to cover up all of our darker blue that we did. We just want to just kind of bring some wispiness. See that? How it's kind of dry brushy looking. Do you see that there? So I have not refilled my brush. I'm still just doing all this with that same initial load, but I'm having less and less pressure on my brush as I'm going around, and I'm just trying to create this little idea of a swirl. I'm going to keep going here. And you don't have to go exactly on top of where you were. You can feel free to go out of the lines a little bit. We are just going to be creating this idea that there's some blowy, wispy motion here. So it doesn't have to follow perfectly. Just kind of go with the flow, I guess, huh? So you know, if you want it a little darker, just add a little heavier hand. If you want it lighter and wispier, a lighter feather touch with hardly any paint on will help you get that. So I'm going to add a little bit more wispiness on this side. I kind of really like how that looks. So, and yes, I am going outside of where I went before. So we have that, we've accentuated that swirl. You can still see, let me see if I can get in there. You can still see dark parts of our original swirl with this lighter color on top. So we're going to keep going with that idea. Okay, but I just really wanted to get my swirl, my windy swirl in there so that I didn't go over it as I'm making my little ripple effects. So now we want to do the same thing as before. We want to make little strokes going around our stars, kind of net basket weaviness. We want to leave, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. It's okay. We want to leave space so that, let me see, can I get it in there? Okay. So you can see I am not going on top of the first layer of light blue strokes I put in. I'm just kind of going, I'm not even thinking about those strokes. I'm just making new strokes with this light blue wherever I feel like it. But I'm following that idea of the ripple that we did before. I'm gonna try to get my painting in focus here. So I'm gonna come out like this. I'm gonna go all, you know, just exactly what we were doing before. I'm gonna come around and make these little strokes. Ooh, this is fun. I'm having fun. Okay, and the same thing with the wind. We're gonna follow these little strokes with the wind too. So we want to always be perpetuating that motion and almost the beauty of chaos in here. So, and we want to get those basket kind of strokes in there where they're overlapping like bricks. We don't want them lining up perfectly. go off the edge there. And I'm always going to start off by going around my stars. And I'm just going to go around and around and around my stars. See that? It's so cool. I'm going to go around this. Actually, I'm going to go around the moon here. I'm going to make sure I turn my brush as I'm going around this moon. Turning my brush as I'm going around the moon. I don't want to go over top my wind. I don't want to lose where that's at. So I'm just skipping over the wind for now, right there, and just trying to really think about how glowy this moon is. Okay, we're gonna come into this star here. Little strokes, little bitty strokes. I think the smaller your strokes are, the more you're gonna have this feel of motion. Round and around and around. Let's see, let's go with this one now. See, my strokes are not perfect. I'm just kind of spiraling. I can't even say it. You know what I'm saying. Spiraling, there we go. Around and around. Don't get dizzy. Maybe some of you are going, oh my gosh, this is making me dizzy. Be careful out there. Paint with caution. I don't want anybody tipping over. All right, so this is kind of fun. So we can make this come around like this. There is no real rhyme or reason to it. It's just kind of just adding those strokes, creating that motion. Around and around. And again, if your paint starts to feel sticky, it's time to add a little bit of water to that. It doesn't matter where you put those strokes. Or for what I mean is, it doesn't matter which image you're trying to put a halo around or a ripple around. Oops, sorry, I got it out of the camera. I'm just trying to see the edge there. Bear with me a second. Just trying to get all of this here. This is fun. You guys can have the freedom to do whatever you want with your painting. So if there's something I'm doing that you just hate it, don't do it. Use your own imagination and just try something new. It's just paint. You can't hardly wreck it. You can always scrub it and start over. That's the beauty of this. So let's see, let's go around this star. Can you see still? I think I keep moving out of the way here. So I'm gonna go around this little star here, around and around. I'm going to come in here like this, little strokes, creating motion, So cool, it's very fun. This is just a relaxing way to paint. No wonder Vincent van Gogh loved it so much. Well, guys, if you've seen that movie about him, gosh, I can't remember the name of it. It didn't come out very long ago. My boys and I watched it. It was very interesting. Had some famous actors in it. It was almost like they portrayed him like he could almost see the movement in the colors. He just kind of painted how he felt. It was all going. I'm sorry, I'm way out of your viewing there, but I wanted to get that in there. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and fill in this bottom part. Again with these little strokes. We're just making movement, movement. Just little movement. Again, just have fun with this. Just enjoy it. Try something different. Just remember to try to get that weave. We don't want our little strokes to line up one with another. We want to get that little weave look. So again, I'm not really paying attention to what other strokes I made before with that darker blue. I'm just trying to create some motion here. I can even go around my camper too. Little strokes. I feel like my paint is getting a little dry, so I'm going to add a little water to it. And my strokes are going to kind of more hairy than like an actual, there we go, like an actual paint stroke. I don't want it to look like hair. Sometimes we do when we're making our animals. We'll be making kind of a hairy pig. Not exactly hairy, but they do have little wiry hairs on them, these little pigs. So when pigs fly, our little fairy tale pig, I think I'm going to call it Piggy Tails. Just remember to create motion. So you're kind of creating a halo around things. So like we're going around the camper, going around the land. Oh, I don't want that to be a V. I'm going to carry that on a little bit farther. Okay, now the same thing we did here, we're going to do to our land. So our land mass, that means we got to wash out our brush, get all that blue off of there as much as possible. And add some white, some more white to that green that we lightened up before. And add a little water because I know my green was getting really sticky. Okay, so what I want to end up with is an even mintier or lighter shade of green than what we had before. Okay, see that? It's quite a bit lighter. We're going to go in here and start adding some little strokes. to our land. Trying to think about how it's making that. I'm going around the camper. Up in here, I'm adding that hill that we did, or that little hump in the landmass there. Here it comes along the skyline. Remember, we want it to lay like bricks. That's almost the hardest part, trying to get that staggered look. Because really, once you achieve that, it looks so neat. You'll be very happy that you did that. I'm going to continue on trying to get that staggered look. Remember, sometimes it just is a matter of making a longer stroke than you made before, or even a shorter stroke than you made before. I'm going to just get this. I feel like I want some motion in here, so I'm just going to go ahead and lay that in so my eye can follow that when I'm and don't forget to go off the edge. Gotta go off the edge sometimes. Isn't this neat? It's got a lot of motion to it already. And I'm going to work it right back up here like this. How you guys coming? Are you working along with me? Don't forget, you can pause when you need to. Rewind if you want to see something again. It's kind of the beauty of this. So you get to work at your own pace. And I'm always available for questions. So once this is uploaded onto Facebook or YouTube, I'm not sure how we're doing it this time. But I will make sure that you guys are aware however we're going to do it. It'll be put in the event how to see it. So this painting is going to be part of the BOGO offer. So this is a buy one get one free offer that we're going to do as a customer appreciation. So I plan to have 3 paintings that you can choose from. And that'll make it kind of fun. So when you do use the BOGO offer, make sure you let me know which is your second painting that you'll be doing, so I can make sure I get you the patterns that you need to do that painting also. Whoops, gotta make it a little longer there, see? I didn't quite get that long enough. All right, wow! Look at this. It's so cool. All right. I hate to tell you, but we got more layers to go. So checking my time. We're okay. Let's get that next layer in. Okay, the next layer is going to be turquoise or Bahama blue. This is what I have. You can use aqua, turquoise, whatever. You just want this really light bluey green color. Make sure you shake up your paints. I'm going to throw some of this, and I'm not mixing anything with it. Ooh, look how close it is in color to the one I just mixed up. Interesting. That's very interesting. Huh. All right, well, let's have fun with it. Make sure you clean your brush, and here we go. We are going to start again with the, I'm going to try to touch this without getting my hands wet here. I'm going to start again with this, ouch, Izzy. I'm gonna lay a little bit, my Izzy's tired. She wants some attention. I'm just gonna lay, but do you see how I'm kind of just making little strokes here? I'm not doing the long stroke I did before. I'm just following along. We're adding glowiness. Glowy. I want to see you glow, guys. Come on. Let's add some little glowiness here. And make sure you turn your brush so that you're following that curve. Yes, I see you. Maybe she wants a cookie, Daniel. Can you help me? Ooh, I don't know if I like that one. Mark. You can always maneuver a little bit. It does not have to be perfect, but you can throw in a little glow. Look at that. Just kind of pops. That's so fun. And I want to make sure I don't cover up all the other colors I already put in there. We worked so hard putting them in, making them beautiful. We just want to kind of, come on baby, go in there. We just want to come in and add some little glow here and there. That's so cool. Yes, Izzy, I see you. What do you want?
What does she want?
What do you want? I think she wants me to hold her.
I could hold her, but she's not satisfied by it.
That's okay. That's okay. All right, now let's go around. I gotta move this so you can see. Okay, should I bring it up to you? See how we kind of just did little strokes with that aqua? It's just kind of showing up here and there. Just adds a little woo glow. All right, let's take that Bahama blue or that turquoise, and we're gonna go around our stars again. Now you can decide if you want to take this all the way out. I think I'm just going to go in out and out just so far. I'm not going to put this turquoise in the whole sky. I want to have a little bit different glowiness around excuse me, my stars. I just want to add that little shine around there. But I don't have to go all the way out with it. You see, I can just add some in here. Just kind of go as far as you want with it. But get that glow happening. We're going to concentrate a little bit more on these stars, adding some more bright colors to just kind of make them stand out from the rest of the sky. And this just kind of helps. And I encourage you to make sure the moon is the most accentuated. I do hear her. Oh, she's very happy now. Daniel's itching her belly.
Her ears are itchy is the problem.
Oh, yeah. Little Izzy. In case you guys aren't aware, I have pugs. Isabella is our youngest.
Oh my gosh, Izzy.
And she rules the family.
She's her little dictator.
Yeah, she rules the family.
Well, you want me to
kind of like the youngest kid.
Hey.
Hey.
I heard that.
No, Daniel's never been like that. We'll say the typical youngest kid.
Bless you.
Okay, so let's see. I like that. We have some glowiness, really, kind of really popping there with the stars. Okay, I might put a couple in here just to see what it does. It does nothing. Okay, so I'm not going to put any more in the land here. I'll just leave that be. Might help me to look at Mr. Vincent van Gogh and see what he's got going on here. I kind of called up his Starry Night painting so I can see Obviously his strokes are tiny, tiny, tiny strokes. So, but we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. Let's see, what do we want to do now? Let's go ahead and we'll stop this video. I'm sorry, there's gonna be so many videos, you guys, but it's really important that we get these stages done. And we're gonna dry again at this point because we're gonna come in with some yellows and whites, and we don't want that to mix with our blue, so we wanna make sure our blues are nice and dry. And remember, you can tell when your canvas is dry when there's no more shine on the canvas. So I'm just gonna hit this with a hair dryer a little bit, and we'll be right back with video number 4. Thanks. Okay, hey, we're back. This is video number 4. Video 4. Okay, so at this point, you have dried your canvas. We're nice and dry. There's no wet blue or Bahama blue, no wet dark paint at all, or in the blue category. We are gonna move on to our golds, yellows, and white. So at this point, you will want to make sure that you have rinsed out your water, so your water's clean, and that your brushes are very clean. We're still going to be working with this little, our smaller flat brush, but I rinsed him out really good to make sure there was no blue residue left on him at all. I want to make sure that my yellows are very yellow, and I want to make sure my whites are very white. So we want to make sure that we have him nice and clean way up into that metal part. Make sure you get it clean way up into here. And when you wipe it off on your paper towel, it should be pretty clear. So, and also I cleaned my palette. So I'm starting with a fresh, clean palette. So if you need to do that, go ahead and pause the video right now and take care of business, and then come back and join us. But I'm just gonna continue painting here. And I did decide to be adventurous and try this metallic gold instead of the yellow ochre. So I'm trading out gold metallics for yellow ochre. So let's get some glowiness going here. All right, hold on, here we go. I gotta move you down. All right. Looks good. Okay, so right now I'm going to start right off with my metallic gold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around with this metallic gold. I'm going to go around the moon and the stars. I'm actually going to, my brush was already wet, but I'm going to go ahead and dip it in my water, dab it off on my paper towel. We're going to load it up with this gold, and I'm going to come in and kind of go around this moony shape here. I'm going to go around the edges of my moon. I'm still using those little strokes. I'm just going around and around and around my moon. Basically anything that was white, I am making sure it is gold now. So I'm going around the edges of my moon, making sure that everything that I had left white before is now gold. And I'll do the same with the stars. So I'm going to go around. It's a little harder to make. Maybe I'll just kind of swirl it around there. That's a little harder. I'm not covering up all the yellow I did before. Let me kind of give you a close-up here. So if you can see how I went around the moon with little strokes, and I kind of smooshed around, but I still have that bright yellow going on there. See that? We want to make sure we always keep our original colors there. We're just adding some gold around. And I see this gold is very translucent. So I don't know if that will work in our favor or not. I guess we will just wait and see. So again, I'm going around each star, the outside of each star where it was white before, where we kind of left a little white showing. I'm going all the way around that with my gold. And I'm making sure that I leave that bright yellow still showing in the middle there. Okay. And now that I've gotten that in, I'm going to start working out. We're going to make these little strokes like we did before. We're just adding this in here, just a little strokes. But we're not going to go over the whole sky. We're just adding some more of this enhanced glowiness, this little glowy feel to our moon and stars. Just another layer of color, another layer going around and around. And I'm pretty much going as far out as I went when I did that turquoise. So we're not doing the whole sky, we are just doing edges. And again, making that brick pattern where it's layered on top, staggered strokes all the way around. Wow, look at that. Staggered strokes. And make sure you're turning your brush so that you're getting those little strokes following the curvation, the curve of the, remember we were talking about like a little pebble in the water, how it drops and it makes those ringlets going out. So that's what we want to be thinking of when we are making these strokes. We're making those little ringlets that follow the shape. I'm going to go out a little farther here on my moon. You're going to follow the shape around. I'm making sure I'm not going over my wind at this point. I'm just adding this another dimension, this another layer of color around the glow of the stars and the moon. If you really pay attention when you look at this painting, you can actually see every single color in here. So we're still keeping our colors. We're just adding more of that motion going around. So I'm not trying to go over exactly on top of where I went before. I'm not thinking about it too much. I'm mainly just trying to concentrate on those staggered strokes. Remember, sometimes you'll have to make them a little longer to try to get them in there so that you have that basket weave or brick interlocking type strokes. We don't want them to line up like logs. So like right here I have an identical one. I'm going to make this one a little bit longer so I can get that staggered kind of look. I wonder how this metallic will look. I'm kind of excited to check it out. And ooh, I see a shine already. The shine kind of shows up once it's dry, because right now it just kind of looks like a dark yellow. But the shine, the metallicness of it kind of shows up once it's dry and it hits the light a certain way. This will look so cool. I'm excited. I wonder if any of you have campers, if you'll be putting your painting in your camper. Wouldn't that be fun? The painting of a camper in your camper. I think that's cool. And again, this painting can be done on any size. Say you had a skinny rectangle. Go for it. Make it your own. The technique is still the same, so no matter what size your canvas is, you'll be just, maybe using a smaller brush if you have a smaller canvas, or a bigger brush if you have a larger canvas. So, but the technique is still the same. So that's the cool part. These are really adaptable. So, okay, so, oh, I love this. I love it. Do you see? Isn't that cool? All right, just for fun, I'm going to add a little of this glowiness into our wind. Why? I don't know. I just feel like it could be fun. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of this glowiness into our wind. Look at that. Vincent Van Gogh was not afraid of using different colors. He was just he just really loved the motion and painted what he felt. And this here just makes me happy. So I'm going to go in around. Isn't that cool? So let's go in on the inside of this one maybe. Just when you're doing the wind, use a really light hand, almost like a feather type, just barely touches the canvas, real wispy. That's so pretty. I hope you guys are having fun. I'm having a blast. A blast! I love it. So much fun. So this is being filmed during the coronavirus kind of self-quarantine type thing. I know that a lot of things are opening up right now, and I'm curious how you guys are handling all that. If you are going out into the public, or if you are trying to stay away as much as possible. Personally, with my family, my parents both have cancer, so I am trying to stay away from the public as much as possible because I want to be able to go visit my folks when they need me. So we're going to try to take a trip up there for Father's Day this weekend. So I hope that everyone is doing well. Okay, you guys, I love it. I love it. Okay, now I'm going to rinse out my brush. We're not going to have to dry this. We're just going to keep going. So right now we're going to go with more of this bright yellow. We're going to add more glow. This time I will not go in the wind. I'm going to leave the wind alone. I'm only going to go around the moon and the stars with this one. So rinse out my brush really well, wipe it off on the paper towel, pick up some of this yellow, and here we go. We're going to start in with more glowiness. Okay, now I was wondering about that. So yellow tends to be one of those opaque type colors. So let's add a little white to it, just a little bit. We don't really necessarily want to change it to pale, but white is very dense. And if you add a little white to a bright color like yellow, so very little, guys. Okay, let's take a look here. So here's my yellow, here's my white. I'm just gonna start to add a little bit of white in there. I don't really want to change the color of my yellow too much. I just want to help that white to make that yellow be more or less opaque. So we don't want to be able to see the blue through it. There, we're going to try that and see how that looks. So I didn't change the color that much. It's just we add a little thicker paint of this white to it, and hopefully that will help it to show up. Okay, so let's try that again. I want to make sure you can see. So we're going to try that again. We're just going to, I'm going to try, oh, much better. Look how much better that's showing up. Do you see that? Those two strokes I made there? They're showing up much better. Okay, we're going to go with that. Yeah, because my other yellow, just the yellow itself without the white with it, it just got lost. It just disappeared. Yeah, these stars are really glowing. I love them so much. We're going to go all the way around, go off the edge of your canvas. and go out just as far as you did with your gold. Maybe not quite as far. Yeah, let's not go quite as far as we did with the gold. Let's let the gold hang out there to be kind of the outer halo of this. Super cool. Okay, so I'm going to start in at the center. I'm going to go around. Again, you're going to be able to see all those other colors underneath. Just working our way around. You can see I'm almost doing a little bit smaller strokes too. I want this yellow to be a little bit more intense so that when you're standing back and you look at this, you're like, wow, it was really glowing. It's just so cool. That one I went like a lot. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go around. I really love that gold in there. That's fun. I'm so glad that I just kind of popped into my head when I was talking to you guys about trying that gold. So fun. All right, I'm gonna come in. I want to do this moon first before I do these two stars because I want to make sure the moon's ring is more pronounced than these stars are. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get this center. Oh, and I have to really concentrate on staggering these strokes out. So, didn't get very yellow. There we go. I don't know if you guys noticed that too, but it's almost like you have to have more paint on your brush to get these yellows to really pop and to show up. I wonder if Mr. Van Gogh would be happy with us. We're trying his technique. I bet he would be happy. You know, just speaking from an artist who likes to share with other people, it does. It makes you so happy to see people just trying to do some art and getting excited about it. And I can tell you from my own experience, it pleases me to no end when people share their art with me and they get excited, and just makes me happy. Now I'm going to go right off the edge with this one too. Okay, it's really coming along nice. The more of this type stuff we do, the quicker it will go because we're doing less and less strokes to get the same effect. Okay. Righty. All right, I like that. Okay. Now I'm going to come in with mostly white. We're just going to kind of let this be just a super pale yellow. Do you see that? It's mostly white. Just going to get that glow going here. So I want to add a little shine to the inside of my moon. Shush, Art. To the inside of my moon. I'm just going to add a little shine there. Just add a couple little daubs. I gotta find out what Artie wants. Maybe my husband can help him. Okay, now let's go ahead with more glowiness, more glow. And with this one, I'm not going to go out as far as I did with the gold and the lighter. I just really want to, and I'm putting them tighter together. You see that? Tighter together, more of a glow. Let me show that to you. If I can get the right one in the camera there. I don't know if you can see it, I'm sorry. Is that better? There we go. So a little tighter together, not as far out as the bright yellow or the gold. This pale, pale yellow. Just right around it. Right around it. You have to add a little bit more to mix up some more of that. Go ahead and do it. So mix up a little more. And I don't care if it's the same exact hue of pale yellow that I got before. I just want to make sure it's not white. I just want it to have a tiny little bit of yellow tinge to it. So we can go around and really make that glow. Little dabby strokes. You don't want it to be a solid line. You want it to be those little dabs. Little dabs all the way around. That's fun. Let's do the moon. This one. That one got really messy, but that's okay. Sometimes messy is good. I am liking this. It's fun. I hope that tomorrow I'll be able to get a photo of it, but if it rains all day, I'll have to wait. Because I like to use the sun because it makes your pictures turn out really nice. How glowy this is. How fun. Okay. Now, I'm not going to put any of that on the wind like we talked about. I want to make sure, look at, you guys, look how the stars and the moon are shining. Isn't that fun? Okay. Lucy keeps thinking that you guys are here at the house. So I'm rinsing my brush out really good. Rinsing my brush out really good. And I think I want to come back in just with some little, I feel like my yellow, just plain old yellow, that bright yellow, I'm just going to dab a little bit here and there. I want to make sure that that is really showing. See that? I'm just dabbing a little yellow here and there, especially over my other yellow to just kind of make sure that didn't get lost. Okay. remember this yellow is a little see-through, so it's okay, but we're just gonna dab it around the edges of my stars here. There. I just want to get that, get rid of that glowy look. That's okay. Just want to kind of get it really glowy here. The beauty of this is you get to do what you want. So if you are loving how yours is looking, go for it. I just felt like I wanted to add a little bit more, cover up a little bit more of that blue that was exactly around the edge of my stars. And I'm dabbing, dab, dab, dab. I want it to, I want those stars to really have that glowy look. Okay, I do like that. Okay, now I'm rinsing out my brush again. So can you see what I did? I just kind of filled in some of those darker blue colors with a little yellow over top of it, just to kind of accentuate that that is really a glow from where the star is. Mr. Van Gogh did that same kind of thing with his. So if you want to call up on your phone the Starry Night photo and just kind of study it, look at it a little bit and see if there's something that he did there that you would like to do. Go for it. So I'm gonna get a little white now. We're gonna think about the wind. I'm gonna let my yellow dry as we play with the wind here. So I'm gonna bring in some of this white to create this windy look more. So I don't want it to be so blue as to, you know what I really want it to do? Just be more, I want to get most of the white off my brush. Do you see that? So I loaded my brush with white, and now I'm just kind of mashing it off on the edge to get most of it back off my bristles. You can also like wipe it on your paper towel a little bit to get some of it off. And now I'm going to use a very light hand, like I'm barely going to touch it at all. And I just want to come in here and bring some wind in here. And again, I like that brushy look. Ooh, brushy look. Kind of that. So there's some solid parts and there's some really kind of washy, brushy look. I'm gonna get that washy, brushy look. And we're not covering up everything we did before. We're just gonna pull that in there. Can you guys see what I'm doing? I'm gonna move this a little bit so you can see a little better. Okay, sometimes I get excited and I just start creating and I forget to make sure that you guys can still see. So just this little wispy look. See how it's getting kind of that dry brush kind of look? Kind of accentuating that there's and make sure I don't want to pick any of that yellow up. I just want it to want these edges to be real airy. Whoosh. Very airy. So kind of just smear your edges. You can add thicker areas, brighter white areas. You could do that too. That's pretty. Look at get this soft look. So I can still see the dark blue. I can still see the lighter blue. I can still see bits of the turquoise in here. And some of the gold is still popping through. Ooh, that one was fun. So don't be afraid to play and see what happens. I know you work so hard, you get to this point, you're like, I don't want to rock it. I hear ya. But honestly, there's so much happening here. There's so much flowy glowiness. Fun. And we haven't even done the camper or anything yet. But I am totally loving this. Okay. I'm going to add some little little white strokes. Look. I said you couldn't wreck it, and then I'm like, ick. Oh, but we're just letting it go. We're just letting it go. It's windy. It's a windy day. Just kind of let it flow. Just let it flow. See that? Just letting this go around here. It's just windy. Very light strokes. It's almost like we should play the sound of the wind blowing. It's a windy night. If we did have a campfire, it would be just blowing all over the place in this wind. See that? Cool. Totally liking that. Look at that. Looks so neat. Don't forget your edges, guys. Ooh, it's blowing. Oh, maybe it's blowing over our camper too. Maybe it is. Put some little windy, dry brush strokes in there and see what happens. Let the wind just blow it away. What do you think, huh? It's kind of fun. Maybe we want even a few really bright white spots. No, I'm asking you, I don't know. Just to really make this have motion. Catch a wave here. Some really bright white. Who's barking? It's Lucy. She always tells us when she thinks she sees something that shouldn't be here. Stranger. Okay, what do you guys think? I kind of like this. I like how we have it thicker and thinner in spots. Ooh, there's a nice thick one right there. You gotta remember too, because the tree is gonna go in somewhere. Oh, it's so swirly. It's so pretty. Okay. I think I am ready for my trees. Huh. Okay. I am gonna take a little white and put another little couple dabs in my little thick dabs right in the center of each star, or just off center. Just let that star glow. And I'm putting a pretty thick blob because I just want those stars to really pop for me. Blob, see that? Nice. All right. Do you need something, Daniel?
Oh, I didn't want to interrupt. I was just hoping to get a glass of water.
Oh, go ahead, honey. You can get a glass of water. You totally can. Ooh, I'm gonna do the inside. All right, there's my moon. Add a little bit of this pale back in here. One thing about this stuff, you guys, you can just keep playing. Ooh, I like that too. See what happens when you play. Okay, all right. What's our time at? Oh, good grief. Okay, I'm gonna stop and we're gonna move on to video 5. Okay, we are back with video number 5. So we've done a lot of work so far. It's looking awesome. I was checking out Mr. Van Gogh's Starry Night painting, and I see that he really accentuated one of his stars with a lot of white. So I think I'm going to work some more white into this glowiness of our stars, because he was really obnoxious with it. And so I feel like I want to do that too. And also I'm feeling like our stars are missing something. I don't know. So looking at it, it looks wonderful. So you can stop at this point and zoom ahead if you want to. But I'm just gonna play a little bit more because I can, and I love it. So, so what I want to do is add a little contrast. So if you're looking at the color wheel, what's on the other side of yellow and blue is red. So I'm going to mix up actually a little weird orange. I can never get a great orange when I'm mixing red and yellow together. So we'll see how this works. I'm just going to add a few little... Lucy, no. Lucy's scratching me. She wants attention. It's time the girls want to snuggle, so it's getting later in the day. Anyway, I'm first going to add some white. And then I'm going to add a little of that funky orange color. Not a lot, just a little bit, just to go, oh, that's weird. Huh, I kind of like it. So let's get busy. Hang on, here we go. Look at that. Doesn't that look great? I hope you guys are excited. This is really fun. So let's start off with some white. So I'm going to wash my brush. And again, this is dry now because we took a little break. I dried my canvas, and so I can just go ahead and play with this, and I'm not worried about smearing anything I have here. It's ready to go. So I'm gonna get some white, and I noticed that especially the star that's kind of over by his tree, he put a lot of white around. And so when I'm taking my tree, and I don't know, gosh, you guys, you know, I almost would like to put a few different trees in here. I kind of want to put one really tall one right here, and I might end up putting a little shorter one, and that's easy enough to do. You just bring your pattern down, put a shorter one here, and I might put in a little medium one. Kind of, I don't know, we'll see. Okay, so he only has one cypress tree in his foreground, and it just makes the background feel so much farther away. So, but I think I'm going to accentuate this star right here. You can pick whatever star you want, but I'm looking at this one. It's right opposite of the moon. Lucy, no. It's right opposite of the moon, so I think that's a good one to kind of accentuate. So I'm going to take some white, and we're still using this little flat brush. We're not done with that guy yet. So get it wet and wipe it off on your paper towel. And I'm just going to start layering in some more. I mean, his one star has so much white around it. It's very much different than all the other stars. He's just got a lot. And I'm wondering if that was on purpose, or did he do it and then go, I don't know if I love that. And so he stopped and didn't do it to the other ones or what. But we're gonna throw some white in here just around this one. Lucy, no. She's trying to be gentle, but I have capris on, so when she scratches on my bare skin, it hurts. Yeah. So, okay. That is a lot of white around that one, and I love it, so I'm stopping. Okay. Now, how we're gonna get that funky orange color is I'm going to use the primary yellow, and I'm not going to do much, so it's just a tiny bit. I'm just going to do a tiny bit, and then some of this red. Yeah, we're finally using the red. A little bit over here. It's not going to take much. Now, a little bit goes a long ways. When you're adding a dark color to a light color, a little bit goes a long ways. So I'm just gonna, I wonder if I should add some white to this. Because remember before how it got, yeah, let's add a little white to that yellow. Because remember our yellow was very transparent. Okay, add a little white to the yellow. Maybe I should pick this up so you can see it a little better. So I just added a little white to that yellow, and now I'm just gonna take my brush, touch just the corner of it in the red. Ooh, just a teeny bit. We'll see what happens. I'm just gonna add little bits of red at a time because I have a feeling this could get overpowered really fast. Ooh, just kind of a funky yellow. Or orange, I'm sorry, funky orange. Let's see, let's add a little bit more. Let's see what we're gonna get here. Okay, it's kind of contrasty. Oh, now it's getting more pinky. Okay, well that's kind of interesting. See, it's kind of a contrast. It's almost a salmon color, isn't it? Let's add a little bit more white off to the side and see what we get. That makes it too pale and weird. Like a peach. What do you think? Do you like the peach? No, I think I like the darker. Like I said, isn't it? It's so hard to get a real orange. And we gotta grab a little bit more yellow. I don't know, I'm gonna grab a little bit more yellow. My hubby's eating ice cream and all the doggies. That is a wonderful idea, except for it's chocolate ice cream. Not so good for doggies. Well, let's see what this does. I kind of like that redder one, I guess. Yeah, I kind of like the more salmon color one. Okay, so salmon it is. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go ahead and wash out my brush. Now remember, I did a lot of white on this one, so I don't know if I'll do any salmon on that one at all, because it will distract from the white we got going on there. So I think I will just pick up a little of the salmon, and I'm just going to throw a little bit in here. Remember, it's a contrast. We don't want to do a lot, just a little bit. Just to give it a little bit like, what's happening there? That is curious. Curiouser and curiouser. Just a little bit. Ooh, that's kind of pretty. A little bit up here. Not too much, just a little bit. I'm going to leave that one alone. So let me throw in just a tiny bit here. It's fun. Let's see what the moon does with it. Ooh. Gives it kind of another dimension. That's pretty. I like it. Okay. And let's see. I like it. Let's think. Do we want to add a little bit more white to these guys? Like we did him, but not as much. Maybe. Let's try it. We can always stop, right? If we try something and we're like, no, we can always stop. I'm gonna throw just a little white in here. Trying to stay away from that salmon look with this white. And I definitely don't want to go as obnoxious with it as I did that one. So I want to go sparingly. Sparingly. There's something fun about just playing with color and seeing what it does. Something fun. Okay, now I'm going to be even more obnoxious with this guy. Because Mr. Van Gogh was very obnoxious with this one star. He added so much just white around it. So cool. All right. I'm going to pause the video and dry this really quick, and then we're going to add in our trees. Okay, here we go. We're going to pause. Okay, so I just got done drying this. Now I have to decide how Mr. Tree is going to go in here. I really kind of like it just like that. Just one lone tree right there. Okay, so now I can freehand this guy, or I can trace it and fill it in with black, pretty much is what we would do. So let's see, should I trace it with a marker? Might be hard because it wouldn't get these nice little points. I think I'm going to be brave and freehand it. I'm going to try to copy this shape that this tree is. So, but I'm gonna be brave and go for it. So I'm gonna move him off to the side like so I can see about how tall he is. Okay, so I washed my brush off. How do I get white all over my hands? I don't know how I did that. Anyway, so I'm going to take some black. Whenever you do a tree, let's see, it's going to go right in there. Okay. So I'm going to go right up here like this. This is the trunk. That's kind of the first thing you stick in. And I'm going to make him go a little off the edge and be a little wonky because I can do that. Now I'm going to put in some, this is my own tree, so he's going to kind of be wherever he wants to be. And he's just going to be black. He's silhouetted in the night. So I'm kind of following what this tree looks like here as far as where the branches go, but I just kind of dabbing in these branches here and there. And as it gets out into here, these branches come up a little bit. So I'll make mine do that too. Ow. Oh, Iz. I know. I know, I see you. What is it, baby girl? Huh? So, yeah, they kind of dab in there. The nice thing about silhouette trees is you can kind of make a little mess, and as long as they kind of sort of look like a tree, you kind of got it. And this is way faster than trying to trace it. But I know, you know, some of you guys, you know, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know. My tree looks like arrows. Well, you know, I wish I could hold Izzy and paint at the same time. It'd make it easier. Okay, now I see this branch is really coming up here, and I have some of these other branches that are longer, so I don't know. But we'll try to make it go like it's supposed to go. And really the beautiful thing is that it's silhouette. So, you know, as long as you don't fill it in solid and get the basic Christmas tree shape. Let's see, it's really getting big at the bottom here. Yes, Izzy. I know, I hear you. Fine. Just kind of Make this goobery shape here. I know, poor baby. She's like, Mom, I'm really not happy that you're not holding me. Ow. I should go give her to her daddy. I know, I hear you, baby girl. I know. Okay, so that's basically how I lay in trees. So I could put another one kind of, maybe I will. Hey, I'm just going for it. So yeah, I can stick another one off to the side here. Even though Mr. Van Gogh only had one grouping of trees, I can have several. See that? You just kind of make messes. Let's see. You ever try to do something and your puppies are just like, we're not having that. So I am just gonna just dab a bunch of black in here now, just to kind of fill in these spaces, because that's kind of how trees look at night. They're just pine trees especially, they're real solid towards the bottom, so we want to get that in there. I'm just kind of go fill in this shape. Okay, so you see what I did there? I just kind of filled in that shape towards the bottom here. And now, a cool thing, this is really wet paint. So if I take a little of this yellow into this black, I'm going to get a funky green. So I can come up here and kind of dab in a funky green. Just a little bit. I just want to break this up just a tiny bit, because you know it is moonlight, and you might be able to see a little shine to some of these a little bit. Just a little bit. We'll just put a little bit in there. If you get too much, just dab her on out. So again, this is a little yellow with the green, and you get kind of a little yellow with the green. Little yellow with the black gives you kind of an army green color. And I'm just kind of breaking up these shapes a little bit. So I'm just dabbing in a little bit of that here and there, just to kind of, so it's not super solid. And actually what I should be doing is doing what Mr. Van Gogh did, and well, we kind of are, really. We kind of are. He kind of did that too, but his is little lines, so you can keep on with the whole liney business. But he just kind of smeared some colors in here into his too, so. Just kind of go like that maybe. I like it. Now, what would it look like if I had a little one off to the side? And remember how we want to do things in threes? And I think I will. I'll do a little short one over here. Could do it. You could make it overlap just like that. Instead of having the camper all out front. Okay, I will think about that. Okay, now I'm gonna clean out this mucky water. We're gonna stop this one. We're gonna go on to video 6, and we should be able to finish off with that one, I'm hoping. So I'm gonna pause this one, or actually stop it, and we'll go on to video 6. Okay, we're back, and we're on to video number 6. We're gonna work on the camper, and I might throw a little black down into the ground area. I'm just thinking that could be a little darker. We'll see, but let's have some fun. Here we go. Now with the camper, my plan is to go with the turquoise, or the Bahama blue that I'm using. So I'm keeping my tree handy here because I might throw in a little tree just kind of right in here to kind of push that camper into the background a little bit so it doesn't look like it's just, kind of will ground it so it doesn't look like it's just floating. But let's go ahead and put some of this beautiful Bahama blue on here. This camper's going to go pretty fast. It's just basically a few colors. So I'm going to take the Bahama blue. I have washed out my palette. So I'm starting clean again. I'm starting with clean water and a clean brush. And yes, we're still using this one. I don't even know if we'll go to the smaller brush. So I have it just in case. And you guys feel free to use that smaller brush anytime we're doing smaller detail and it makes you feel maybe a little nervous about it. Go ahead and use the smaller brush. But we're just gonna get started here. I'm gonna go ahead and I think I'm gonna make this bottom area this blue color. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that right in there. Now you might choose to do yours pink. You might choose to do yours in that salmon color. Whichever one you want to do is totally fine. Now don't worry too much if you don't stay exactly inside the lines. I'm just going to kind of go with it. If I go over this black line a little bit, I'm not going to worry too much about it. If I want to, I can always come back in and enhance that black line a little bit there. As a kid, I was never good at staying inside the lines when I was coloring. Kind of hated that. So I had a couple cousins who were just excellent at coloring. Their work always looked really, really good. But, I did the best I could. I'm sorry, I tend to get quiet towards the end of these videos because I just start getting into it and just having fun with my paintbrush. I just got a crazy idea I might try, but I don't know. Let's see. The fun thing about this is you can do as much or as little with this as you want. It's the cool thing. And if you like your lines really standing out, then go ahead when this is dry and come back in with your marker, and you can freshen up those lines. And so it doesn't matter if you go over a tiny bit. That is cute. And let's see, do I want to do like a little, I know I want to do some of these guys in this color. That one. This one. Like I said, if you guys want to use that smaller brush, go right ahead. It's totally fine. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Just have fun. Whatever gets you your best result, that's the brush you should use. So. Sometimes using the wider brush is harder than it needs to be. You guys, isn't that cute already? I totally love it. Okay, I think I am going to, let's see, should we, I like this blue though, it's nice. I'm thinking I want to add a little tiny bit of this maybe, just to darken it up a touch for the fender. Let's see though, do I really want to do that? Let's think about this. No, I don't. I'm not going to. I kind of like it just like it is. Just simple. All right, let's see. I'm gonna do red hearts. I think this pop of red will be really cool. I could do the salmon too. Let's see. Of course, you know, I can always do the salmon. If I don't like the red, I can always fix it. So let's go like these. So that, the photo of the little trailer, I noticed they had a bright red striped rug. So I thought, oh, red and turquoise looks so nice together. And that'll be just the kind of the little pop that we need to make this really fun. And then I think I'm going to do the metallic on the other ones. On these white ones, I think I'll do metallic. I like the red. What do you guys think? I do. It's not very Van Gogh-y though, is it? Well, let's see. Let's get our basic colors in there like we did the background. And then if we want to Van Gogh-y it up, we can. How pretty. Just pop of red. Nice. I think it needs to, well, if I put a tree here, I won't even see that. So we'll leave it like that. And then I'm going to bring in this metallic. I hope this turns out as cute as I envision it. I hope so. Metallic. I gotta be careful not to smear my finger. through there. Does that look good or does it look like baby poo? I don't know. I don't really love it. Maybe I'd rather go yellow. All right, let's see. Can I wipe that off without making a mess? Sort of. Not horrible. Little mess, not bad. All right, we'll do yellow. Remember, that side's gonna be, I'm gonna put a tree in front of that, so I'm not too worried. So gold, blah, didn't like it. So again, I'm gonna, oops, make sure my brush is really clean. I'm gonna mix a little of this white into this yellow so that it can not be transparent. And I paint on there. Might get my head in the way. Sorry, guys. Oh, goodness. That's better. Yes, I use my fingers a lot. I got this so thick with paint, it doesn't want to paint nice. I should really probably be using the smaller brush, but I kind of like it when it's a little wonky. All right, I think we're going to add a nice little glow inside here a little bit because, you know, they're in there playing games with their family. They're having fun. So we want to give them a nice little glowiness too. Let's mix a little of that funky salmon color. Funky salmon color. And let's put a little bit of that in there too. Yeah. Kind of blurring that line. I'm taking a little yellow and I'm blurring the line that I made there so it's not so standoffish or standout-ish or whatever you want to call it. Come back in with a little white. There we go. Break that up a little bit with a little white. You know, sometimes just a dot here and there makes you think like, oh, there's a reflection or there's something's catching the light in there. Well, I think that looks nice. Okay, now we're going to do the tire in black. And I already have white out. And I'm going to make some gray in a little minute here. But let's first get the tire in here. So the tire we're doing in black, and then we're going to mix up a little gray. Now if we try to make this a little bit more Van Gogh-y looking, we will do that as soon as everything here is dry, because you want to have your underpainting first and then come back in with some little different colored lines maybe. But let's see what we do here. Okay. So there is our tire. Okay, now I'm going to mix up a little gray. So I have my white, I have my black. Let's see what we do here. And remember, black really takes over. So I kind of have this grayish look here. That's pretty dark. Let's try a little bit more white and see what happens with that. I want it a little bit more like steel color, not so dark. Not like dark charcoal, but more like a steel gray. Yeah, a little softer like that. What do you guys think? That's a nice one, huh? Okay, so nice gray. Now with this, I'm going to do the bumper. And I'm going to do this part right here. Remember, I can freshen up these lines if I need to. Or I can embrace the kind of wonkiness of it. You know, if you want to put a little cylinder on the front of your your camper here, you know, one of those little propane cylinders. It's just kind of like this. It's a little thing. Kind of sits in there like this. So you make a little rectangle with a little top on it. It's basically just what it is. Yep. Just like that, this little thing. Okay, so I am gonna mix up a little bit of darker blue. I'm darken this one up just a tiny bit. So I'm gonna take a little of that ultra deep blue and I'm just gonna mix it in with my turquoise just a little bit so that you can see. Just to kind of deepen that up just a titch. What happens if I add a little red to it? No, I don't like that. Maybe I should have tried some of the green in with it. I still want it to look like it's turquoise, just a shade darker turquoise. So maybe we need to get that greeniness going on in there. I think that's better, you guys. So a little green in with the turquoise. To get it just a little darker shade of that turquoise color. Yeah. Okay, let's try that. I'm going to try that on the bumper here. And again, if you want to move to your smaller brush, please do. Yeah. That's nice. I like that. Can you see that? It's just a little bit darker. So the trick was to add the green to it, not the blue. Okay. I wonder, do I want to do the door that way? I kind of like the door white. I think I'm going to leave the door white. Okay. Now the only other thing I have to do is I want this hubcap to be a light silver. Let's see. Just like that. I could make the door a silver. Kind of don't hate that idea, so let's see. Oops. Yeah, just kind of a little washy. So it's not so bright. Okay, I like that. Okay. I might add a little highlight onto, this is where you could just keep going and going and going. I might add a little highlight onto here. Just a little bit. And I know the one thing I saw had like a little thing like that. We can add a little highlight onto here. Little things like that just kind of help. Okay, I am going to just kind of make a little wash with the black. So I'm just going to add a lot of water. See that? We've done this before. We're just kind of making really dirty water. Really dirty water. See that? So how you know you got it good enough is when you go like this and you can kind of see your plate through your stroke, then you know it's thin enough. I mean, this is just basically water. So what I'm going to do is I wiped my brush off on my paper towel so it doesn't have any excess from mixing it up. Now I'm going to touch it into this dirty water just on the edge like this. So I'm just going to take and touch in on the edge. So I'm not like really super saturating my brush. I'm just adding a little bit to the tips, to the edge of the bristles. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to gentle, gentle, gentle lay in a really thin washy line. I'm going to come up and do it again. Do it again. I just reloaded my brush. I'm being real careful. It's basically just dirty water. Just using my brush sideways, and I used this line in the camper. And I'm just following that line as best as I can. I feel like it's getting an angle, but that's okay. Van Gogh-y, remember? It's wonky. This is a stinking cute camper. I like it. Some of these old campers had like fins up in this area. There's so much you could do. You could do a little flamingo. There's so many things you could do that are fun. Whoops, that line got really wonky, but it's okay. It's gonna be tricky. Just use the tip. You're just suggesting that there is a line there. There we go. Super cute. Super cute. Now I can do the same wash. So I'm using the same black wash, and I'm going to do a little something here. I could go across like this and make it plaid. Maybe I will. Just with that wash. That is stinking cute. You can keep playing. Whatever you want to do. I can make these be plaid too. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Now I could keep going down here too with that same wash. That's the cool thing about this black wash, is that it just adds a shadow to whatever color you put it over. Just adds that little bit of shadow in there. What do you think? That's really fun. And since we have light on this side, we can put dark on this side. You could put a little dark, like, grunginess in this thing too. You know, because this is not clean, it's add a little shadow here. Sweet. Add a little shadow to the outside of the door. I like that. You can even add a shadow to this whole side, which if I put a tree there, you're not really going to see this anyway, but I like it. Literally, I could just keep playing. All right. All right, you guys. Okay, so this Starry Night is, thinking looks pretty done. Oh, that's right. I was going to add a little black down in here. Let's see what that does. Add a little black to our, maybe we even want to add a shadow, because you know, it helps to ground our maybe there's a shadow up underneath there. See that? Kind of grounds it, gives it a little path. And I was thinking that I would like to add some black in here. Just keep following however you did that before with the black. I think that is going to add a lot to it. And you can see I'm just really messing around right now. I'm not being overly careful. I'm just kind of adding in some. Just trying to get this motion going here. Just whatever you do, make sure you also add it to your edges. All right. Well, I think our Starry Night is looking pretty good. I like it. Don't be afraid to play with this one some more. I might add another tree over here like we talked about. But basically this is how you do this painting. So I'm curious to see what you guys are going to do with it. Please send me your pictures. Have a lot of fun. Just play and have a good time. So here we go. We'll see you guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.